Welcome back to Behind the Books with Kenn and Sandi. Today we're joined by Adriana Cavallo, General Manager of Customer Experience at BGL Corporate Solutions, CPA, MBA graduate, and someone who's spent more than a decade helping shape exceptional client experiences across the bookkeeping, accounting, and compliance software industry.
Today's conversation is all about leadership, innovation, customer experience, and the evolving future of bookkeeping and compliance technology. We'll also dive into what it takes to build strong teams, remarkable client relationships, and a company culture that continues to grow globally while staying deeply people focused. Adriana, we're so excited to have you here. Why don't you say a quick hello to everyone listening out here today?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Sandy and Ken, for having me today. I'm really looking forward to deep diving into a couple of topics.
Well, I think the first thing we need to talk about is how qualified you are. Like, you have an
Yes.
incredibly diverse background. What CPA,
Yes,
MBA in
yep,
marketing, customer
yep.
experience leadership. I'm just reading it. Like, how did you get into bookkeeping, accounting, and compliance software to begin with?
Yeah, so I think to go forward, we've got to kind of go backwards. And I always had a really big passion when I was in high school with accounting. I had an amazing teacher and he really inspired this passion for accounting. And I think I've just taken that throughout my career. So that really made me, when I went into university, it was the industry that I wanted to focus on. And then I kind of fell into BGL. I graduated. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And I found BGL and started my journey at BGL. And I've been here for 13 years, 14 in August, and I just haven't left, to be honest. And I think for me, being in an industry for so long, it's sometimes easy to get stuck in, we've always done things this way, so let's continue to do them. And that's where I've really wanted to focus on building my skill set. So important to understand what accountants are going through, doing a CPA, doing an MBA. So really being able to provide those practical experiences and connect with other people in different industries. Bring that back to BGL. And I recently just did my CX Academy, which was amazing. And I think it really helped me connect with different CX leaders globally. So it's a global course and it really brings different experiences and different people together.
I just have two questions on that. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like you're the queen of the three-letter acronyms, like
Yes.
CPA,
A,
MBA,
CPX, now
BGL.
CP.
3-letter acronyms. That's all I do now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You threw me for a loop because you said CX. So can you just explain that one to us? I've never heard of it before. I'm not sure if Kenn has.
Yeah. So I feel like customer experience, CX, is kind of a new terminology that's really come into the space over the past 5, 6 years. I think if I said to someone 5, 6 years ago, I work as a GM in customer experience, they'll be like, what is that? Why would you invest in that? So I think one of the things that I found in my journey at BGL, working in different positions, different roles within the business, is that my passion really fell with working on how customers engage with us as a business, but also how do we engage with our internal customers, which are our staff, our teams, our managers, our leaders that we work with. So CX has become really prominent at BGL, but also in the software industry, in other industries as well, talking about accounting, bookkeeping, software compliance. This whole concept of how we engage with customers is now coming to the forefront of everyone's mind, which is great to see. And people understand what I actually do now.
So is that a qualification then? Because you at the start of this you mentioned you'd done your CX. So was that something like, is it a
Yes.
global qualification or is it an Australian one?
Yeah, so I actually studied with the Customer Experience Academy. So they're a European-based organisation, and I did a 12-month course specialising in customer experience. So they talk about the customer experience life cycle, giving you perspectives outside of your business and really connecting you with other people globally around what they're doing for customer experience and forming that connection. So the great thing is I was looking for a course that would help me connect with other CX leaders. And then we've had another 3 or 4 leaders that kind of work underneath my leadership and in my teams that have also gone through the course as well. So it really provides a great framework to think about, when we're implementing processes, procedures, new software within our own business, how do we make sure that our customers are getting the best experience by using those tools and those processes, but also making it a really great experience for our staff internally as well. So the course was fantastic. 12 months went very, very fast, but it's definitely something that I use on a day-to-day basis, and it's probably helped me be who I am today as a leader as well.
I love that. And I'm just wondering, is that a BGL initiative? Do you really have to go through those kinds of like learning to improve a certain skill, or is that just you wanting to, like learn constantly?
Yeah. One of the great things about BGL is that we really focus on upskilling and education. So everyone at BGL every single year has a $4,000 education budget. So they can actually use that for a course. It can be a long-term course, a short-term course, something that a skill that they can bring back to their day-to-day, or even upskill themselves into another position within BGL. It's definitely something that we always focus on. It's actually a part of our performance review process as well. So we encourage everyone within the business to do at least one education course or one upskill course throughout the 12-month period. And yeah, I think it's a really good initiative, and it helps retain staff in your business, but also bringing that experience back into the business as well, which is how BGL has been able to grow and become successful over the past 35 years.
Yeah.
How
No,
big is the team at BGL? Sorry, Ken.
yeah,
How
no
big
worries.
is?
Now you're putting me. That's a good question.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
think, I think, no. So off the top of my head, we have, I would say, 250, employees now. Yeah. So
That's amazing.
when I started, I was number 55 in the business. Yep.
Good number.
My
Good
goodness.
number. Yep. That's how I remember it. So it's a good, easy number to
Yes,
remember.
yes.
And yeah, that's in our Melbourne office, which is our main hub. There's around about 200 people. And then we have little hubs all over the globe. So we've got a team in New Zealand, Singapore, Hong Kong, Philippines, and we recently, over the past 18 months, have expanded to the UK. So we now have a
Wow.
UK-based team as well. Yeah, so the fun job about being CX and
Yes.
working in all the different jurisdictions is that my morning times are filled with New Zealand meetings, and then my night times are filled.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic though, because you were mentioning earlier that you've been with BGL for 13 years, on your 14th year this year, right?
Yep.
So yeah, and with all of this education that they offer you, like it's really fantastic. But apart from that, like what else has kept you so passionate about the company, the culture, and the people behind the industry? Because just listening to you right now, I could really tell that you love what you're doing.
Oh, I definitely love what I do, and I've really loved working at BGL. I think for me, there's two things that have really made me stay throughout the 14 years, and I think one of them is growth and opportunity. So I started in our support team. So that's a very entry level position, came out of university, and I was always given an opportunity to upskill and grow and move into different teams. So I think off the top of my head, I think I've done 10 roles at BGL over the 14 years. Yes. So I've, had opportunity to work. A lot of my roles have always been client facing, but I've actually done product development. I've worked behind the scenes with ecosystem partners implementing APIs. I've then gone through and done events, partnerships as well. I've created teams within BGL itself as well. So that's been an amazing experience, and obviously kept me wanting to grow with the business as I joined. And I think also the evolution of BGL has also been something that has kept me. When I started, we were a desktop product solution. So I've actually been able to go through that journey with BGL to transition from being a desktop provider to a cloud-based system now, and being able to work with existing clients to help that transition across has been something that has always kept me passionate about the business and the people. I think it's very rare to come into a SaaS industry to have so much longevity and loyalty within a business. Me saying I've been here for 13 years, it's actually, there's people that have been here way longer than me in this organization. So I think that shows not only to new people coming into the business that, wow, this is a great opportunity and I can grow with the business and not have to go outside to look for a new opportunity to help upskill myself, but also that there's so much knowledge and so much understanding of the industry, what our clients want, how we can better service them, that we can then bring to new people coming in and also extending that as we keep going at BGL.
How long has BGL been around then? Because if you've been there 14 years and people have been there longer than you.
Longer than you, yeah.
We're still getting over we didn't realize you had 250 people.
Yeah.
Clearly,
I know.
I need to be asking better questions earlier on. But how long have they been around?
So BGL itself has been around, I would say we're in the 30 or 37th year now.
That's so good.
Yeah, we started at Ron, who is our founder. He's still active in the business today. He was part of the 3 original founders that started BGL, and it was a consulting service, tech service, and then over the years transitioned into this amazing software company. Anil, who's also our CEO, he's been here 25 years. So that's why I say 14 years it does sound like a long time, but there's definitely a lot of people here that have been longer than me.
So 3 founders.
Yeah.
BGL, I assume
Yeah.
last names?
Yes, they are. Ron is the last one. So Ron Lesh, he's the L. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Are B and G still there?
No, unfortunately, they're not here anymore, but it's all right. We've still got one, which is the L, so
Yes.
that's good.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. And so you've mentioned that you've had about 10 roles in BGL over time. So you've gone through so many leadership roles in there. Like, what was that early season of your career like? Are there a lot of changes as well, like culture-wise? Like, what was it? Walk us through the evolution that you went through in.
Yeah, so when I first joined BGL, it was always going to be a stepping stone for me. You know, I'd come from university, I'd studied accounting, finance, and economics. I really wanted to become an auditor.
What?
I'm doing something.
To be an auditor.
I have no idea, but I think as people listen to me throughout this podcast, they'll be like, she's not an auditor at all. And especially now doing customer experience, that very different industries. So I always joined BGL as an opportunity to get knowledge. So I really, wanted to learn about corporate compliance. I wanted to learn about SMSFs, really getting that knowledge up. And my plan was to probably stay a year or 2. That was really my plan. And like I said before, I started in the support team and opportunities. The business was growing really rapidly. We were a desktop product. We were building a cloud-based solution. And I think because BGL went through that evolution, the opportunities opened up for new roles, new teams, new areas of the business that hadn't really been exposed to. So my first transition was into a team. It doesn't exist anymore, but into a team called the data services team. So what we really built, there was 3 of us that originally moved into that team, and we built the foundations for the bank data service. So automating bank transactions from the banks into our cloud-based solutions. So
we love
that whole
feed.
Yes.
Exactly. Loved working with banks. They're so easy to work with, but it was a great exposure for me to understand how to engage with key stakeholders, with businesses that are way bigger than BGL, that have legal elements, that have processes that we need to follow. And then once that kind of kicked off in our cloud-based solution, Simple Fund 360, we then had the other fun side of it is building the team to actually process all these forms. So when we first started the bank data service, everything had to be done manually because we're dealing with sensitive data. We're dealing with bank account details. We're dealing with signatories. So when that started, we were processing manually around about 600 to 700 forms a day from those from all our clients. Yes, it's definitely slowed down now because a lot of it's now automated through the product, which is really good. But that was kind of my first transition out of the support team into this new team. And like I was mentioning before, BGL was going through this huge transformation into moving into the SaaS industry. And I kind of was in this role and I saw a gap in BGL where we had these clients that were desktop users and we were asking them to move to a new product, but we weren't supporting them or giving them the support that they really needed. It's easy to say, hey, let's just get up and move to a new platform. This platform is going to be so helpful for you, but dealing with accountants and bookkeepers, change probably isn't they don't have an open arms approach to change. So I was just kind of thinking to myself, we've got all these clients, we want to move them across. We're getting this resistance. Why don't we start a team that actually helps these clients journey on with them through that process, helps them move from desktop to the cloud-based products. So I had a really great conversation with Daniel and Ron. And one of the great things about BGL, I'm at this point in my career, I'm probably 2 years into BGL and I have the ability to speak to our founder and our CEO quite openly. I think that, is a credit to BGL. I was just a young kid with an idea and I had a chat with them and I said, I think we need to build this team. And they gave me the freedom. They said, hey, Adriana, okay, you want to build this team? Let's go build it. So I started a whole team from scratch and that team is actually still in existence today. It's called it's had a few name changes over the years, but it's now the client success team. So they still do, obviously a lot of processes has changed, but they still do our key functionality is that transition from other platforms or other tools to BGL products and making that experience as successful as possible. And I think that kind of gave me my first taste of customer experience, how to really, take it to the next level and upskill myself in that area. So yeah, I think that was probably one of my first points that I really enjoyed. And then I was like, you know what? I need something different. Let's do something completely different. And I was like, let's do product. So I was like, I'm selling a product. Let's actually understand what goes into building a product. So I moved into the ecosystem team, which focused on APIs, developing APIs for our cloud-based products, integrating with practice management systems like Xero was a really big project that we did, integrating with other providers as well. And that really, gave me another perspective on working with external parties as well, but also, the client perspective is different as well. And then I was like, nope, I need something new and there was an opportunity kind of that we wanted to segment the development side and the relationship side. So I went more into the relationship side of the ecosystem. So really helped building those relationships, not with clients anymore, but with our partners. So one of the great things about BGL is we have an amazing ecosystem and we connect with so many providers across all jurisdictions. So really building those relationships is kind of where I focus my time. And then I went back into what I'm doing now, which is customer experience and really leading a lot of teams within BGL on how we can deliver exceptional customer experience. And a couple of my roles after that evolved into where I am today. But I think for me, the reason why I've been able to do this role is because I've had that experience across the whole business of BGL. I can see the big picture. I can see how all these teams connect with one another.
I love how you've just created jobs for yourself along the way as well. Like that's actually pretty cool. But we have this like in New Zealand culture, there's this big thing about imposter syndrome, right? Like you've gone through every stage of this business really. And
even created a team, right?
Yeah. Was there any point where you actually like had that imposter syndrome? Like any doubt crept in, or were you just like, nah, we're going for it, man?
100%. And I think there were times, if you speak to Daniel, there were times where I would walk into his office and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I've got no idea what I'm doing. And the real question is, does anyone really know what they're doing? That's probably the real question. And I think if you're really honest, so when I moved into the ecosystem role and I was doing product, I was really honest with my experience. I said, I don't know anything about an API, but I'm willing to learn. If everyone is willing to support me, give me the training, help me, I probably asked about 1,000 stupid questions when I first joined the team. But I
I
think
love
if you
stupid questions.
but I think if you create a safe space for people to make mistakes, that is so important to help someone grow in their role. And still to today, sometimes I think, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right decision? How can I say something in a different way? Or how can I make a leader see something from a different perspective? And I feel that creating that safe space is really important and helps with that imposter syndrome. It's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay to say, I don't know, and I think
we experience that on a regular basis. So
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Ken and I are well known for coming up with these great ideas, right? And then all of a sudden we'll be like, oh my
100%.
God, how are we going
How
to
do
do
we
that? And
implement this?
yeah. And then, usually we manage to pull it off somehow. But I think one of our little sayings and during that process is, it'll be fine. It'll be
It will
fine.
be
It'll
fine.
work
Yeah.
out.
And I think it all comes back to loving what you're doing, right? And just basically the willingness to learn to figure it out.
100%. And I think if you have the right intention, it's
Yes.
always going to be perceived correctly. So, my intention was always, how can I give our customers a better experience? How can I create an integration that our customers are going to benefit from? I think that's really important. Also, failing fast, if something doesn't work, I feel
Don't
like
tell anyone.
you don't have to tell anyone, number one. But number two, I'm always a person, and I try and teach my leaders this, is that you're always going to have problems, but it's how you respond. Like, hey, I've made a mistake. Okay. But this is how I'm going to fix it, or this is what I'm going to do, or this is what I'm going to change, or this is how I'm going to navigate that. I think that's really important as well. And that helps, build that resilience that a lot of people struggle with, because they have this fear that if they make a mistake, that's it. And it doesn't have to be. I think if you have that ownership, integrity, and have the courage to, say, yes, I made a mistake, but I'm also going to fix it, that will help you in your journey to get to that level that you need to be at.
Yeah, I personally hate when someone, make a mistake, that's fine. Come to me with the mistake, all good. Don't have a solution when you've come to me. Like,
So annoying.
I know, it's like, okay, that's like, it's all very good up until this point, but what are you going to do? Like, are you
Yeah.
coming to me because you want me to, basically, I'm referring to my kids here.
My husband.
Have you thought about how you're going to fix it? Like, what? You can't expect someone to save the day for you all the time. You have to, have that, like
Problem
critical
solving
thinking,
skills.
right? Like
Yeah.
critical thinking, that's it. Yeah, I did this. Now I'm going to do this. Like,
Yeah.
Don't just stop at that point.
And especially as a leader, I think for me, I found it really hard to not always provide the solution, make people think about, okay, what would you do? What are your options? Listen and ask questions.
Yeah.
Being comfortable in the silence is really hard sometimes. If someone comes to you with something, they'll look at you, and sometimes you just have to sit there and look at them, and they'll be like, okay, you want me to come up with a solution? And I was like, once
Yeah.
you have an idea, I'm more than happy to talk it through with you and give you some validation, which is probably what they're looking for, but not always giving the solution is hard at times.
It's so hard when you're, like, I feel like, well, I mean, you're head of customer success here as well. Like, people in these roles, like Ken and I, we're helpers. Like, it's always when you're in a customer support role, you're that helper person. It's so tempting to just be like, let me
Yeah,
help
you want to
you.
provide, yeah, exactly. Like figure out the solution for all of them, right? But I really love that. Like you just have to be comfortable in the silence and let them figure it out for themselves.
Yeah. And
Come
sometimes
over
we
and
have
babysit the girls, Ken. You can practice that on them.
And honestly, sometimes we just have to remind ourselves, we do, I love BGL. We do such amazing work, but we're not saving people's lives.
Yes.
We're creating accounting software for bookkeepers and accountants. I feel like everything's solvable. and it's all good. Everyone's gonna be fine. We're all gonna be fine.
I think that's another one we probably do as well, Ken, eh? Like, usually we don't tell people if we've failed at something, but it's always, the other thing is like, no one's going to die if it doesn't work, right?
100%. Yes.
It'll be
Exactly.
fine.
It'll be all good. It'll sort itself out. Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
anyway, I'm just going to throw some big numbers over here.
Yep.
Like now we know that BGL has been around for 50. Sorry, what was the number again?
I think it's 6 or 37 years this year.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
37. Okay, 36, 37 years. And over that time, BGL has now supported more than 12,700 businesses across 15 countries. Wow. So, what excites you most about leading customer experience on a global scale?
I think what I've had to learn being in a global role is that what works in some jurisdictions and countries doesn't work in others, and that's fine. And I think it's really about not trying to rinse and repeat. It's really about taking a step back and understanding, okay, what does New Zealand want from BGL? What does BGL mean to our New Zealand demographic versus what does BGL mean to our Australian demographic? Or what does it mean to our UK team and our UK engagement?
Do you
It's
find that there's quite a lot of difference between New Zealand and Australia then, or are they quite similar?
to be similar but different. I think because we've always had a presence in New Zealand, but our main presence is in Australia. We have a lot of brand recognition in Australia, which we don't have in other jurisdictions, in other countries. And that's something that we've been working hard to really build. But also, I feel like there are a lot of similarities between New Zealand and Australia, but also there's different compliance regulations as well. So even simple things like, in Australia, in our product CAS 360, we call it an annual review, whereas in New Zealand you call it an annual return. The legislation, we've got ASIC, we've got Companies Office, House in different jurisdiction, we've got ACRA, we've got all these different ones.
So
Those
a lot
little
of terminology is different, I guess, but
correct, but it
the
also
function behind it is pretty much the same.
100%. But I think it's really important. It sounds really simple when you say it, but those little things actually make a huge difference to the customer in the other jurisdictions, in the other areas. So
Yes.
being those little things sometimes make a huge difference.
Do you know, there's nothing worse than being, because New Zealand, we're at the bottom of the world. Everyone forgets us. We're left off maps all the time.
No.
Sometimes
And then
people think New Zealand is in Europe.
yeah,
Oh my
that's right.
God,
Though.
no.
We win lots of rugby trophies, so it's all good. But we're the forgotten end of the world, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than setting up software and it defaults to like an American address or an Australian address. Like, if you want us to use it in New Zealand, like, come on, at least like put New Zealand as the default country.
Yes.
It's asking for the state. We don't have states here.
Yes.
No, I definitely
Personalization
understand.
is important.
Yes. I definitely agree with that. And personalization is just something more and more that's becoming more and more prominent in customer experience as well. People want to feel, even though we deal with, one to many, people want to feel like they're the only customer that we have. And it's hard sometimes to give people that experience. But with all our systems and our processes, that personalization is really important. And we're being able to really work towards that personalization through our product, through our system, through our customer experience as well.
So, is there a big difference for you when we talk about leadership, team development, and scaling customer experiences like locally and internationally? Like, what's the big difference?
With being a lot of the stuff that we do is Australian based. So I think there's a couple of things that we find challenging is time differences. So, New Zealand's 2 hours ahead of Australia.
Yeah.
We've got Singapore, who's 2 hours behind. We've got states that are also in Australia that are on their own time zones, doing their own thing. And then, we cross the border and we're in Europe and we're in the UK, which is a whole different time element as well. So I think the time differences plays a big part in that, making sure that we can service all those clients and replicating the same experience that they would have with the Australian teams overseas as well. I also think that having teams that are based locally really resonates with our customers, that we are invested in those countries as well. We're not just trying to service New Zealand from Australia. We actually have a New Zealand-based team that work hard in New Zealand, that go see clients, engage with clients on a daily basis, and we replicate that in the other jurisdictions as well. So I think it's really important to have that presence there. Also, having the support for that personalization, like we were talking about just before, is also another key element to the customer experience journey for them.
Do you ever try and like trick people? Because I don't know if this is a me thing, but you get the sales calls and they're like, "Hi, how are you today?" And I'll be like, "Oh, it's really wet outside and it'll be sunny." And they'll say they're in Auckland, and so you try and catch them out with the weather. Like, you're not even here. Like, don't like, just be
No,
upfront
we
about it. Don't lie to
no,
me.
no, no, we definitely don't do that. And I think
I mean, you personally, like, that's my thing.
I feel like at the moment, the problem that I have is I have so many people calling me and I don't know who is calling me anymore. I don't know if you guys have this issue. I think I get about 4 or 5 calls a day of random people that have my number and trying to sell me things when they're not, like you said, you can hear them connect when they're trying to call you, and I'm just like, "No, I'm not. I'm trying to
Yeah.
connect." So no.
It's good fun though. Like, at the
I didn't
moment over
realize you were
here, we
doing
have
that,
this.
Sandy.
Well, we have this like healthy home thing, right? And like every year at this time of year, I get, sorry, we're going off tangent here, but every year I get like 5 calls from people who want to come and insulate my ceiling and underfloor. And I'm like, it's done already. But you kind of like, at this point, if you've taken the time to call me, I'm just going to have a little bit of fun here. Like,
Yeah.
where are you calling me from? Like, and at the end of it, like, I've spoken to you 3 years in a row here. I've told you I'm already sorted. I don't need you to call me. Like, go away.
No, I can definitely
Anyway,
understand. Most
yeah.
definitely. It's so
Also, for
annoying.
anyone listening from the Healthy Home place in New Zealand, I have ceiling insulation and floor insulation. Stop calling me. Gosh,
Sandy.
they don't even ask you for your name. Though as well, like, is this the owner of this property? And you're like, sometimes I just say no because I'm like,
Yeah.
Anyway, being local is important for customer service. Key.
Definitely, it
Yes.
is. It is
Especially in
definitely
New
important.
Zealand. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, we
definitely.
don't take too kindly to tricksters, do we?
No,
Yeah.
I definitely feel in New Zealand that the New Zealand culture really appreciates the investment in the country and
Yes.
knowing that we have presence in that region as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing
And
like the
actually,
old, where are you calling me from?
No,
and
no
you know
more
what?
worry.
Funny how we're talking about that because right now I'm feeling guilty about it because I'm just to let you know, Adriana, I'm actually in the Philippines at the moment, benefits of working.
Cheating. Oh,
I
no.
know. I'm looking at a water view right now. I'm not going to talk more about it because Sandy's going to kill me. Anyway, the benefits of working from home, right? Like right now, I can be in anywhere in the world and still do my job. But I grew up in the Philippines. I only moved into New Zealand about 10 years ago. So you can still detect that I'm not a Kiwi. And then I talked to some
Really?
like, and so like I talk to people and then like for example like we get some membership inquiries sometimes and then they talk to me and they ask like where are you from and I'm like oh my goodness like I'm
Really?
literally in the Philippines right now but then I tell them look I've been in you know what I mean like not answering the question directly I'm like yep I'm from Auckland and then they start to quiz me like whereabouts in Auckland kind of thing.
See?
I'm like
It's
but
a
now
thing.
it really is but like but I've been living in New Zealand it's just I'm on a holiday right now still working though but you know what
I
I mean
would have
because
just
before like
I would have just
and then
been
you go
like, I'm in the Philippines at the moment because I'm
but
enjoying some holiday working
yeah,
time, but
from
I am
home.
based in Auckland. Yeah.
Hey, I'll be back in Auckland this June.
If you ever get another call like that, Ken, just flick me a message and I'll tell you what the weather's doing so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can.
yeah, exactly. But then again, in saying that, it's Auckland. You can always have a sunny weather in
This is
Papatoy
true.
and have a terrible weather down in North Shore.
It's like being in Melbourne. You can have 4 seasons in one
Yes,
day.
Yeah.
Done.
It's a
exactly. Yeah.
popular song for a reason.
Anyway,
We have
Now,
combined ADHD here.
Back,
We get distracted easily.
back in. Yeah, back in.
oh my goodness. Yeah. So now we want to zoom in on the bigger opportunity for bookkeepers here. So,
Yeah.
through everything you've experienced in leadership and business, Adriana, why do you think so many bookkeepers still underestimate the value that they bring?
It's a really interesting question, I think, because I feel that bookkeepers sometimes just feel like they've been put in a box and that's what they should focus on. That, they play more of a supporting role, not a leading role with clients. But the evolution of bookkeeping and, tools like Zero and AI and all these tools that are coming in, I think it's a really good opportunity for bookkeepers to start thinking about what additional services that they can provide from the moving away from, the basic bookkeeping, a model,
Data
which is
entry.
which is totally fine. But data entry from when I started, like for 10 years ago to now, is such a completely different experience. We were talking about, bank feeds before. They didn't exist 10 years ago. So I think as a bookkeeper, you need to evolve. And I don't think it's just bookkeeping in general. I think it's just in every industry, the way that things were done and the way that technology is growing, we need to evolve with that times, but also putting on that hat, the hat of, okay, if I'm not doing XYZ anymore, what other things can I be doing to add value to my client? And I think that's that space that bookkeepers need to focus on and really think about, there's a really big shortage of talent in the accounting bookkeeping space. I don't know if New Zealand's experiencing any of this, but in Australia, it's really hard to find a good bookkeeper and a really good accountant these days. And a lot of generations that are coming through that, would maybe step into those industries aren't anymore. So there's that whole talent gap that's happening in that industry as well that I think is really.
We were just talking about that with someone.
Oh,
Who
were
was
you?
that, Ken? What was? Oh, I know. It was shout out to David Morrison from Count here.
Yes, yes, yes.
We did an episode with him, and he was telling us.
Yeah.
I can't remember the numbers, but it was something like 30,000. They were predicting that they were going to be short of CAs by
Yes,
30,000 or
yes.
something in
Like in the
Australia.
US and in the
Wow.
US and in the
Yeah.
Philippines. Yeah, sorry, in the New Zealand.
Mm.
I'd have to go
Yeah,
back
yeah.
and have a look, but it was a thousands number,
Yeah.
and it was Australia, New Zealand, and the US. He was talking
Yeah.
about having the shortage.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's actually really scary because, software kind of comes in and we say AI, which is the buzzword, automation, another buzzword that's happening at the moment. There still has to be a human element behind that technology, and that little space is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Like you were mentioning before, with the number of accountants and CAs coming in, it is a big concern, but also a big opportunity for people to kind of fill that gap as,
Yeah.
twofold.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities with AI. Really, it's like
Oh, I think it's a bit overwhelming. I feel like if I see another product change their name or put AI at the end of their name, just because you put AI at the end of your name doesn't mean you're doing AI correctly. So there's just so many tools now. Where do you even start? I think that's
Mm.
people kind of get frozen in not knowing where to go, and having a community like this, having podcasts such as yourselves is a really great community tool to help provide clarity in a world that some people don't know what's happening. There's apps popping up every day, products like ourselves implementing new updates. We had a client a couple of weeks ago send a feedback saying, you guys are moving too fast for me. You're doing too many releases and I can't keep up with the new stuff that you're putting. And we're like, okay. Whereas, maybe 10 years ago, we would have had the opposite where like you're doing a release
What's happening?
every
Yeah.
quarter, nothing new's coming out. So it's a rock and a hard place sometimes.
Yeah.
but the key is, Ken, say it with me. Always
Oh,
say thank you to the robots.
yes,
Oh,
we're always be grateful to
100%.
the yeah, because there's
Yes.
gonna be a rise of the robots in the future, right? So, like I just want them to
We're
remember
cool.
every time I ask a prompt, I always say please, say thank you, and I even tell them have a nice day.
Thank you so much for your help. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you
Yes,
so
I
much for your
agree.
help.
Changes going on with AI. Like, I feel like we should recall it something else at some point so we can stop saying those letters.
Yes, we
But
do.
with all these changes going on, and obviously you guys are releasing updates quickly to keep up with the game, right? How important is the customer experience for you guys dealing with accounting firms and bookkeeping businesses?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, sometimes it's hard for accountants and bookkeepers to keep up because, they're focused on the work. And sometimes taking time out of the work, especially if they're billing per hour, their billing model might be unable to allow them to have a bit of time to themselves to really invest in understanding the product is sometimes hard. We see at BGL, when we look at the usability of our product, we look at, we have great data that we can see across, our platforms and what people are using. We would say maybe about 20 to 30% of our platform is actually getting used on a day-to-day basis. And that's because people are focused on A to B, which is fine. They want to produce, financials. They want to produce the tax return. They want to produce, do the data entry, do the matching and be done. If we're working on implementing features, we also need to make sure we're creating time to educate clients on those features. So we do a lot of education around product update webinars, making sure that we highlight new changes in our product. We do something called BGL Masterclass as well, and we do product roadshows in our other jurisdictions. So it's really focused on, okay, what can you do from your workflow, your day-to-day processing that now you can kind of tap into, maybe doing an automated work paper. Maybe we could get a new data feed that can be turned on to help that. But it takes time. You have to invest in learning the product, and that sometimes is hard to find, even for us as a business. We have platforms, such as, our phones, dial pad, Zendesk, that are also evolving like we're evolving. And we have to find time to make sure we're using the new features as well, so that our clients and us as a business are getting the benefits out of it as well. It's a really hard act to juggle, to be honest. But
I think it goes back to, like, I think a little bit earlier you said something about bookkeepers and accountants being a little bit resistant to that change. I think a lot of it comes into like the time element, right? Like you're saying, so you've used this system for this long, it's integrated with this and it's all working. It might not be perfect, but it's getting your head around like having the time to implement that change. But also I think the other inherent fear, because it's something that I have, is if you change one system, what's it going to break somewhere else? And then you've got to have time to fix, the flow-on effect from something. So you might be moving to a really cool new system, but you've got to plan for that, like have that contingency period for when it breaks this and this and this kind of, because it always breaks.
100%.
There's always one link somewhere that you've missed or something.
And I think also sometimes accountants and bookkeepers get stuck in the mentality, and we do it as well here. If it's not broken, just leave it.
Yeah.
Why touch it?
Yeah.
But I think it's about working smarter, not harder. And that's kind of one of the mottos that we use at BGL. Can we work smarter? We want to make sure we're growing as a business. We're getting more clients. We're servicing, over 12,000 clients now. How can we make sure that we're getting a faster response time for client A, whereas client B wants to engage with their account manager and not speak to, a VoIP system or speak to an administration person. So how can we streamline those all so that our customers can get the answers faster? But that takes time. It really does. And you have to invest. It's also something that it's hard to see the value or put a figure on straight away or see what's your return of investment. It's more of one of the things in our team when we do a lot of projects, because we're doing customer experience, there's no initial return on that investment. So if we've added a new feature into our help with our robot, talking about robots, chat, great. So, if we're investing on building our skills for our robot to answer more questions rather than our, people having to speak to our support team, how do you value that? You can't do it straight away. It's a 12-month journey to see the benefits of those things. So sometimes it's hard to put that investment and make time for that when you're not getting that reward straight away.
So does that feed into the exceptional customer experience part for you? Like, you know, you want to give as much value to your customers as possible. So training a robot for 12 months, that's kind of that investment into the you know, exceptional value, right?
So it's really interesting because at the moment we have 4 different generations in the workforce, and each of those generations have different requirements and like to engage with companies differently. So, you know, we have people that would rather speak to someone, speak to them one-on-one, have a phone call versus, you know, for me, I'm not booking a restaurant unless I can book online. I'm not calling up, you know. If I have to call a restaurant, I'm not going to that restaurant, unfortunately. And then we have the next generation below us that you know, they've grown up with iPads and iPhones and different technology. So for us, it's how do we offer an exceptional customer experience to these 4 different generations that we're trying to service right now. So it's kind of this whole, when I was doing my CX course, we learned this phrase and I've kept it with me. It's digital when I want it, human when I need it. And I think that's a really good take out of that experience is that there's people that want to be in a digital world. They don't want to speak to anyone. I don't want to speak to someone, and there's people that do want that, and that's fine. But for us to provide exceptional customer experience, we need to make sure that those opportunities for our customers to engage differently with all these different points is there, and that's what's the challenge that we find. But I think it's paid off. You know, if you speak to anyone about BGL, the first thing a lot of people talk about is not our products. It's about our support is amazing. My account manager is amazing. I can actually get in contact with someone and speak to someone versus only doing support via email. And yes, it is a cost to the business, of course, but it's something that it's a long-term investment for us to maintain that relationship with the customer and make them feel that they are important, and they are. Our customers are at the heart of BGL, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do today without them. So we try and make sure that they're heard and we listen, and we hopefully can reflect that in the experience that they have with us.
I have a question for Kenn.
Yes. I love it. Like, you have a question for me, go for
I
it.
have a question for Kenn because I actually don't know the answer to this. Like, I feel like I do, but I don't. So Adriana just said that she's not going to book a restaurant unless she can book it online. I feel like when she said that, I kind of had a moment where I feel like an old lady in my this not as old body here, because I like to ring and talk to people. But I think it might be because I've worked from home for 10 years and like talking to soft toys and toddlers is kind of like, you know, you want to have that adult conversation. So we've got 1 vote for an online person here, 1 vote for talking. Which one are you, Kenn?
What would you do?
Yeah, no, actually, I think I might have an answer here because funny enough, I saw this thing online. Quick question. What generation are you from, Adriana? Are you a millennial?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yes. Are you a millennial, Sandy?
No, which one?
I am.
Yeah.
Well,
hang on.
okay, so while
Stand
you
by,
Google that
everyone.
one, I actually saw this reel while I'm scrolling through because I'm exactly like Adriana. So apparently there's this millennial anxiety for millennials nowadays. Before we even go to the restaurant, it's not just the booking, Sandy. It's like we already check the menu, we already know what we're gonna be ordering before we even go to
100%.
the restaurant. Like when we're sat there, we're gonna pretend like, oh yeah, we've already thought about it, and that's exactly me. Before I go to any restaurant, I would always ask my husband, have you booked yet? Do we need to book? Have you checked online? But apart from that, it's one step. There's another step to it. We're in like, okay, so this is the menu. This is what we're ordering. You know what I mean? Like we've already thought of different scenarios of what will happen if we're going to order this food. And
Are you the same,
apparently it's a
Adriana?
millennial thing. Yep.
So I'm actually going out for dinner tonight. I've got a real life example that I'll be using in this podcast. I'm going out for dinner tonight. I've trying a new restaurant, found them on Instagram because we don't use Google to search restaurants. We need to look at their Instagram.
100%.
To get the vibe. And then I went
Yes.
online and I looked at the menu and I was like, yep, I already know what me and my friend will like. So we know, yep, we'll probably get those things. And then I was like, can I book online? Yep, perfect, done. So
Yes.
all done. Yeah.
You guys are weird.
So what are you, Sandy? Are you a millennial?
I've just Googled it. So I'm a 1982 baby, older than Ken here. And Google has very kindly told me, and I quote, those born in 1982 are often referred to as elder millennials.
Okay.
So I think Google and I are breaking up for the day because that's pretty pretty stink.
That's
I like to
hilarious.
walk past and think that place looks good. I'll try it and then just see what's on the menu. I've actually got a really good friend of mine. I've known her since we were in high school. So we're like 20, 30 years old of friendship. And every time she was pregnant, she was the worst person to go out with because we'd walk into a place and she'd sit down, look at the menu and go, I don't want anything on there. And then we'd walk out and go to another place. Hi, Kat,
No,
by the way.
you can't do that.
And you don't, yeah, but you don't argue with a pregnant woman. Like she'd be scary. Hi, Kat, again. But yeah, we'd end up doing this game until she found what her pregnancy craving was, and we'd always end up at the first place we started with.
Oh my God.
No, you can't walk back into the restaurant after you've sat down. They've given you the menu,
And said no.
and then you've walked out, and then I would never go back to that restaurant ever again. Done.
See, it's I grew up in South Auckland. It's just the way we are.
Oh my God. I really think I don't know if it's an age thing. It's funny you said that, Adriana, because that's exactly what happened to me a couple weeks back. So my husband and I went to this mall, and then there was this store, and then I had a look at their menu. I was outside. I didn't even go in. It's one of those store when they display their menu outside, and then I had a look through it.
On Instagram for the menu. It was
no, because we were walking around. Like I had no intention at all of
She
eating.
didn't have time.
I didn't have any intention of eating. Like we were just walking through the mall, and I'm like, well, this is gonna be a good restaurant for next time, right? So I was just like, let's just have a peek at the menu, what they have. I was looking, and this one of their waitress came out, and she was so nice. I just like, hi, how are you doing today? And I told her, look, I'm not gonna eat here today. I just want to see what you guys have. So I had a look, and then I'm like, okay, we'll come back here next time. So we went around, and then basically my husband wanted to go somewhere else, wherein we have to go back there. And I told him I am not passing by there again because I felt like I wasted her time. We are going around the longer way, and it's like she's not even gonna notice. I'm like, I don't care because I looked at their menu and I didn't eat there, so we are walking the other way. So
I love that. I would do the same, or I would feel pressured that she came out, and I'd be like, I have to eat something now. I have to sit down.
Welcome to millennial anxiety, Sandy.
Is that what it's called? Millennial status? It's called millennial anxiety. That's my new phase at work, guys. I'm just going through some millennial anxiety.
At the moment. Exactly.
Actually,
what were we talking about again?
We can't move on. What does that make you? Are you a millennial as well?
Yes, I'm a millennial. That's right.
Okay. You're not an elder one, though, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Okay, anyway,
conversation.
Where were we? All right, okay. So, yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I do have a question here for you. So what are some of the biggest, I think that's what, so you basically, we were talking about, what other biggest challenges or blind spots have you consistently see practices struggling when it comes to client experience? So you've mentioned before, right? Like catering to different generation alone is very tricky. Are there anything else that,
also
you can think of?
People investing in customer experience. I think having a business, having a firm, people don't think about the customer experience element. They just think about, okay, we've got my business. I'm trying to get clients. How do I get clients? And not actually thinking about, okay, what experience do I actually want to give my clients? What experience do I want, or what type of client do I want to attract? So just think, actually, this just came to my head. One of our clients that I actually work closely with, and I know her quite well, she's based in Adelaide. They have a specific client that they like to work with. And if they engage with a client that doesn't meet their values or doesn't meet, what their expectations are, they're not afraid to say, look, we don't think we're the right firm for you, or we're the right person for you. And I think a lot of businesses aren't willing to do that. They just want the business, and that's fine too. But I think making time to put value into customer experience and think about how you want to engage with those customers is really important. And going back to it, it's not something you can monetize on instantaneously. So that's why I think it's always at the back of everyone's mind. But over the past years, I feel, a lot of clients want that personalized experience. They want to be felt like they're the only customer that you have. And it's very fast engagement now. One experience, when we were talking about customer experience back in, 10 years ago, we were looking at, okay, how do I feel when I engage with bookkeeper number 1 versus bookkeeper number 2? Now with customer experience, you're actually not getting, your experience isn't getting assessed against someone in the same industry as you anymore. It's about general customer experience. How fast can I engage with that in that platform? How fast can I get an answer from my bookkeeper? If I go to Google, I can get an answer straight away. But for my bookkeeper, I might have to wait, 3 or 4 hours depending on what they're doing. And that's fine. But it's that whole mindset of we're not being assessed or evaluated against the same industry anymore. It's just in general the experience that people are having across different industries.
I think going back to what you said about taking on the clients as well, like I don't know if this is an Australian thing as well, but in New Zealand, when you first start a bookkeeping business, you just want to take the clients, right? Because you need to get a successful business. But we find that lots of our members and lots of bookkeepers go through this journey of, like, it's almost good that they do that at the start, because then they find out where they fit, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking all these clients on. Actually, I like this better than this. So it's actually, it kind of helps them through that journey of becoming a business owner, offering bookkeeping, like, it's like going, should we go use the restaurant thing again? You're going out and trying all the food at the smorgasbord to figure out, which you like best, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's fine, especially when you're starting out, but it's also okay to realize that maybe this customer isn't right for me, and to kind of break up in a sense with those customers.
There's lots of breakups today.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's okay too. I just feel that
it's part of the process, though, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that basically wraps up all of our serious questions. I say
Okay.
serious because the next thing that we're gonna do here is we actually
Yeah.
have a quick fire round. But
Whoa.
like,
The announcer voice.
yes, yeah, absolutely. Go for it, Sandi.
Adriana, welcome to the quick fire round with Kenn.
Oh, okay. I'm nervous
It's
now.
your favorite part.
All right.
Yes, it's so easy. So basically, we'll just be asking
Yeah.
you this or that questions, and all you
Okay.
need to do is not think. Just blurt
Okay.
out the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Okay?
Okay.
And my
All right.
part in
All
this
right.
process is I sit here trying to guess which one you'll do.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So based on the conversation we've had today, Sandy and I
Yeah,
now
that was
felt we know you better.
okay.
We know you
Perfect.
more. And she's gonna try to guess what you're gonna pick, all right? So
I want to know
Adriana,
how many.
are you
I want to
ready?
know. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
apologize in advance for my facial expressions when I'm shocked at which one you pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry, it's gonna be really easy questions. All right. Okay. First,
I'm ready.
leading a live event or hosting a strategy meeting?
Or leading a live event. Easier. 100%.
Team lunch or quiet coffee break?
Or team lunch. I'm a people person. Get everyone together. Yeah.
Okay, this one, global travel or staying local?
Global travel. 100%.
Innovation and big ideas or systems and structure?
Systems and structure. I feel you need the big ideas, but if you don't have systems and structures that are going to facilitate them to be successful, then there's no point.
Totally thought that would go the other way.
Yeah, same here. Early morning productivity or late night brainstorming?
100% early morning productivity. I get up at 4:30 every day. Yep, I'm a morning person. 4:30
That's
is
not
my
normal.
morning. No, I slept
Just
in.
some-
I was talking to my sister the other day and I said, oh, I slept in. And she goes, oh, what time? I said 7 a.m. She goes, that's not a sleep in, Adriana.
I was gonna say 4 a.m. could also be considered late night for other people. Like they just got home, so it's a late night. But oh my God, 4:30 a.m. Crazy. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Collaboration or healthy competition?
Collaboration. You need everyone on board to get things done.
Celebrating team wins or achieving personal goals?
I think both, but I would prefer to celebrate as a team, 100%. I think being a team is how you get things done. Not just obviously you want independence and you want your own goals, but in life, having a partner, having friends, having family, not even just at work, celebrating as a team 100%.
Fantastic. Building future leaders or solving operational challenges?
Oh, building future leaders.
Yeah.
I love working with my team. I love seeing people grow and I love giving people opportunity. That is my passion.
Fast-paced growth or steady long-term success?
Well, I love fast-paced stuff. Like I love working in, just a fast-paced environment and things going on. But to be successful, you need the long-term growth. You need that longevity, or you're not going to be successful.
So which one is it, Adriana? We're
I'm
going to
gonna
force you to
okay,
pick one.
I'm going to go long-term growth. Long-term growth. Think of the bigger picture. The bigger picture.
Okay,
I
so
thought you were
fast,
like practicing
long-term
for a
success.
politician speech then or something.
Yeah.
That was a very political answer. Well, both.
I've been
Yeah.
watching too many. We have an election coming up. I've been watching too many of the videos
yes.
that they're putting out.
So, like, what's the best answer, right? So, Sandi, how many of those that you got correct? And
Yeah,
how
what
many
did you
of
get,
those
Sandi?
you completely did
You
not
didn't
expect?
tell me to count.
Well, but on top of your head, what surprised you the most?
Maybe the early morning productivity really surprised me.
Wait, at
And-
4:30 a.m.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the innovation and big ideas and the systems and structure. I really
Yes,
thought,
that surprised
you
me.
created
I
how
thought,
many jobs for yourself?
yes, I really thought innovation and big
True.
ideas.
True.
Yeah,
Here we go.
yeah.
I'll
Okay.
mark them next time.
Yeah. All right. So now we've got finished the sentence. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a sentence, and all you need to do is just finish
Okay.
it. All right. I
Yep,
only got
yep,
3 here.
done.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. So great customer experience starts with.
Understanding the needs of your customer.
I
Ooh,
love
like
that.
one.
It was like a well thought of. What I mean? By the way, for everyone listening,
don't
Adriana
know
doesn't know
these.
all of these questions.
Exactly. I did not see that beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. That was so good. That was like a slogan like. Okay, let's see if you can keep it up. No pressure. But the best leaders are the ones who
Listen, one word.
listen. Oh my goodness, you're such a natural at this. Okay. And lastly, don't fail us on this one, Adriana.
Okay.
Technology should help businesses feel.
Technology should help businesses feel. I'm going to say the word light because technology should
Yes, that makes
feel
sense.
like something that makes their work easier. So technology should feel light and easy to help them work efficiently. So that was not one, that was a bit of an explanation, but yes.
No, that it totally makes
I
sense.
thought we were almost going to get you on that one. You almost stumbled.
Yeah, exactly. Like we finally got her, but no, that was actually really good. Well done. You're so good at this. Again, she didn't know any of these
I'm a
prompts.
natural.
Well done. Yes. All right. So, yep. So that basically wraps it up. We'll just ask you with a practical takeaway. So, for bookkeepers wanting to grow sustainable businesses, where
Yep.
should they focus first?
I think probably 3 things. So obviously customer experience. So think about, who your client is, what can you do to make them feel, like they're your only client, and how can you improve the way that they engage with you? But not only that, how you engage with your customer. I think technology is such an important piece, looking at your systems and processes and how you can work better. Going back to that saying, work smarter, not harder. And then the third one I'm going to say is connection. So making sure you're connected to your community, you're connected to other people in the industry, you're learning constantly from challenges and new opportunities and new things that are happening in the industry. Those are the 3 key things I would say.
I think that's probably a really good segue into conference, right? So we've got our conference coming up in August this year.
Yes.
And the biggest value that we find our members, so we survey them at the end of conference, obviously, so we
Yes.
can always improve.
Yeah.
And they love the connection. Like
It's
meeting
so
people.
important.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
BGL
BGL
team will be
is
there.
gonna be there.
Will you be one of the
Yes.
people, or will it be your New Zealand team?
No, our New Zealand team will be there, but yes, we always love being a part of the event, and it's so important for us to connect with the industry and get to know everyone that, is listening to us today and getting to know them in person.
I think the other
Yes.
cool thing with meeting people in person is we do all these videos, Ken and I, and we're like floating heads on a screen. And then when we see people in real life, they realize we have legs and we're
Yes,
both really
a
short.
whole body.
Yes, and we're both really short.
Short too, so
I'm a
that's
little bit
okay.
taller than Ken.
You look tall, Adriana. You know what I
No,
mean? Like
I am not
sometimes you can
tall.
tell.
I am short. I'm short. I'm 5'1", so I'm very short.
And this
Yeah.
is why connection matters.
Exactly. Oh my
All
goodness.
right,
And
well, I'll ask you the last question then.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you're almost off the hook. You can have a break after this.
Yeah, go for it, Sandy.
What are you most excited about right now for BGL or the broader industry?
I think for BGL, I'm really excited we're actually in the process of launching a new product, which is going to be really interesting. It's in the very early stages. It's to deal with all the AUSTRAC compliance that's coming out for accountants over the next couple of months. So that's going to be a really great opportunity for BGL. And I think also from my team's perspective, we're really investing in some new technology and some new avenues for clients to engage with us. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to work out over the next 12 months. In the industry itself, I feel that we're still in this huge transformation of all these new tech products coming into play. And I think it's really going to be interesting to see how the evolution of the actual work of a bookkeeper changes over the next, 12, 18, 24 months, even longer. So they're probably the things I'm really looking forward to.
Fantastic. So that's it. That wraps our podcast today.
We did it.
Yeah, we did it. Thank you so much, Adriana. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been such an insightful conversation around leadership, customer experience, culture, and the future of bookkeeping and compliance technology and learning about millennial anxiety.
Yeah.
If you'd like to learn more about BGL Corporate Solutions and the incredible work Adriana and the team are doing, head to BGL Corporate Solutions, which is www.bglcorp.com/NZ, so you hit the right country.
Yes.
And you can connect with Adriana as well on LinkedIn because, everyone needs to connect.
100%.
As always, thanks for tuning in to Behind the Books, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you so much, guys. I've had such a great time today and can't wait to catch up soon.
Excellent.
Thank you, Adriana. Thank you all for
Yay!
listening.
Thanks for tuning in to Behind the Books with Kenn and Sandi. We hope you enjoyed diving into the world of bookkeeping with us. Don't forget to check out www.nzqba.co.nz for more insights, resources, and updates. Until next time, keep crunching those numbers and having a laugh along the way.